Good evening, DGens, and welcome to Not Financial Advice, the show all about trading and investing in crypto, NFTs, and everything Web3. It's the show all about trading and investing in crypto, NFTs, and everything Web3. Today is Monday, December 5th. We just got back from a 2-week break with some traveling, of course, Art Basel and the Gateway in Miami. If this is your first time listening in every Monday through Thursday, now at 8 p.m. Eastern, Not Financial Advice hosts a panel of top traders, analysts, and leaders to bring you the latest market trends and insights, helping you protect yourself in this bear market, helping you catch the upside, just grow your knowledge and be a better trader. Web3 and NFTs fundamentally redefine how creators and communities create and share value. Tonight, we're going to tell you what we're buying, what we're selling. We're going to hype projects. We're going to FUD some of them. But just remember, always do your own research. Our show is not financial advice. I'm your host, Trevor, and this show is brought to you by NFT Now and Ninja Alerts. NFT Now is the leading Web3 media publication focused on NFT news, curation, and analysis. NFT Now is the leading Web3 media publication focused on NFT news, curation, and analysis. They're on a mission to empower the creators of culture and take NFTs from niche to mainstream. Ninja Alerts is an NFT trading tool, mobile app, and web app that lets you follow the wallets of the top traders with just one click. It sends you push notifications directly to your device whenever the wallets you're watching buy, mint, or sell an NFT, so you can catch all of the top NFT trades. With that, I'd like to welcome today's panel. We have Satoshi's mom, the Renaissance man of NFTs, artist, founder, and top trader. We have Bell NFTs, NFT trader, community builder, and host of the If You Know, You Know show on Twitter Spaces. We've got Chris Coffey, co-host of Ninja Alerts NFT Traders Club show on YouTube. And we've got Eli Herf, the head of community growth at Gamma, the leading Bitcoin NFT marketplace. I'm excited to be here, and I'm glad that you're all here with me. I pinned the tweet letting everyone know that we're live, so please take a second to retweet that tweet, like it, and give us some love for the algorithms. During the show, we welcome audience members with any questions or thoughts. Just request to speak and join us on the stage. We would love to hear from you. With that, let's turn it over to Chris for today's market report.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It feels like it's been forever, but I think it's been like one solid week. Just we had to, went to Art Basel, threw things off a little bit, but it's good to be back. Hope everybody's having a great day. Let's take a look at the market together. OpenSea volume is sitting around 7.8 million USD right now, which is pretty healthy. This is already up 1 million from last Monday, and the day is still obviously not over. So we're definitely going to pass up last week by quite a bit. Top projects making up for this volume is Artifact and Nike Monolith at 495 Ethereum volume. Pudgy Penguins making a run with 268 Ethereum volume. Guess they dominated at Art Basel or something. I'm also seeing on Ninja Alerts for most spot and the 6-hour chart, little Pudgies coming in second. They're definitely moving, so people are not just speculating on or not just buying up the Pudgy Penguins, but they're also snatching up those little Pudgies. And of course, Mutant Ape Yacht Club coming in third at 221 Ethereum volume. Our Ninja Alerts team just got back from Art Basel, and I just wanted to give a shout out to some notable events that happened while we were there. NFT Now put on a heck of a weekend with some excellent panels and speakers. They had some sweet areas set up in the area, like Artifact, Phase, Art Blocks, and a lot more. Gave away a bunch of really cool swag. I know you got some like Kaiju Kings, Rug Radio, Recur, MetaMask, and I guess I'm okay now with MetaMask collecting my data because I did get this really dope jacket from MetaMask. It was pretty sweet. We went to some events, the NFT Now party. Yours truly, you're on the panel NFT Now panel right now. The Nifty, D Gods, and there was a lot more. And I just had to say it was so nice to meet so many like-minded people, to be able to meet some of these people behind the PFPs. A little bit of alpha for you. This just dropped about 50 minutes ago. It's now live. The Blur airdrop tool, you can go look at it on the Blur Twitter. You have 14 days to claim this, and it looks like to claim it, you're going to have to place a bid. In crypto news, we have Jim Cramer urging investors to sell off all of their crypto. Whether this is a top signal or a bottom signal, I'd love to hear the panel's thoughts on this. And I haven't been able to read it myself yet, but UK did finalize a plan for crypto regulation, which is going to be a pretty big deal moving forward, and seeing what they have to say about that. That's all I have for today's market report. Back to you, Trevor.
Thanks so much, Chris, for the fantastic update. What a great week it was in Miami. Got to see everybody here on the stage, of course, except for Brett, Eli Herf. You were stuck in Australia. Brett, maybe we'll start with you. How sad are you and how depressed are you that you just missed such a great event at Art Basel?
Very, basically. Thanks for making me feel good, but I'm yeah, very, very sad, very depressed. No, look, it was amazing to see everything that was going on. No, I'm kidding, Jans. We're all good. I had a good week. Actually, I was at an NFT conference 2 weeks ago, and the POAP that I got was COVID, so that's been fun. But yeah, unfortunately, that's the token that everybody received after the conference. But again, doing all right on the back end of that. Got some sleep. Anyhow, yeah, look, it was amazing to see. It was really great to see all of the parties that were going on. It was great to see you guys sad, very depressed. No, look, it was amazing to see everything that was going on. No, I'm kidding, Jans. We're all good. I had a good week. Actually, I was at an NFT conference 2 weeks ago, and the POAP that I got was COVID, so that's been fun. But yeah, unfortunately, that's the token that everybody received after the conference. But again, doing all right on the back end of that. Got some sleep. Anyhow, yeah, look, it was amazing to see. It was really great to see all of the. It was really great to see all of the parties that were going on. It was great to see you guys rocking out and posting heaps of cool photos, and it was amazing to see Gamma and the events that we hosted in collaboration with the Mincery and a company called Artemis, and they put on an amazing party, and we had I think it was about 25 different artists that had entered a competition and had all of their art featured in and among some pretty big names out of the ETH ecosystem, such as Gabe Weiss and Warhodl and Manny Links and stuff like that. So I think there was some amazing connections made. Some pieces got sold for some seriously impressive prices. And yeah, look, yes, I wasn't there. Australia's a long way from Miami, but when my kids are a little bit bigger, I'll be making the trip over there. But look, it looked amazing, and I'm glad everyone had a good time. I thought Chris's content was great. He looked very stoked. So good on you, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, I know I'm gonna share this since you did, tweet it out, but Chris, basically the biggest trooper on the planet, pushed his surgery back to come all the way to Art Basel to hang out with us. And yeah, Chris, like huge props to you, man. Are you okay now? I'm glad to see that you're still alive, having taking such a life-threatening risk to come out and hang with us. But yeah, maybe you could talk a little bit about what your experience was like at Art Basel and how it was worth it to you.
Yeah, so yeah, I pushed back my surgery that was actually pretty needed, but I'm getting it this Wednesday, so it's all good. It was to get my gallbladder out, and so like everything made me nauseous. So like I was the only sober person everywhere we went, like at the parties, obviously everybody was like drinking and stuff, and like I was like sober as can be. So that was interesting. It was to get my gallbladder out, and so like everything made me nauseous. So like I was the only sober person everywhere we went, like at the parties, obviously everybody was like drinking and stuff, and like I was like sober as can be. So that was interesting, I've never had that before. But it was worth it. Like I said, it was worth it to just get coffee, with some of the, it kind of sounds kind of typical, but like with some of the, it kind of sounds kind of typical, but like to get coffee with some of the people that I was looking forward to meeting, behind the PFPs, and to spend time with my team, like the Ninja Lords team, obviously. Got to meet, Bell and a couple of other people at some of the parties, and just the event was really nice. Got to hear Gary Vee speak. Got to see some people that we see on Twitter all the time, like K Money lead some of the discussions, some of the panels. That was really cool. Lots of people were really humble. Like we met like Phase Destroying, and like he like went out of his way just to like have a conversation with us. He's got like 5 million on YouTube, so that was pretty cool. And like I was joking about the free merch, but it really was like awesome. Like MetaMask had some like really awesome merch. I think they did a really good job at just organizing the event and kind of having like that whole street dedicated to NFTs. So like, was it worth it? Like, I absolutely do think it was, not just to spend time like with our team, but to finally be able to put some faces behind you. So like, was it worth it? Like, I absolutely do think it was, not just to spend time like with our team, but to finally be able to put some faces behind the PFPs and make some connections. And I'm really looking forward to going to an event in the future to where I'm actually healthy, because it wasn't just like, oh, I mean, I was nauseous the whole time. Like it was hard for me to walk around. It's hard for me to like get up and get to move in. So I was like really sick, mainly from nausea the entire time. But yeah, it was still worth the trip.
Awesome, man. The things that we will do for NFTs and for community have no limit. Brett, you have your hand raised. You want to add?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add, yeah, Chris, I didn't realize that, man. I hope you're all right. I threw Manny Lynx's name out there as one of the artists who was part of that the Artemis event. He's actually in the audience. I didn't even see him there, so he could be a cool dude to get up on stage if he's interested. I just wanted to point that out. Welcome to the audience, Manny.
Yeah, have him request. Would love to have him. Bell, got to meet you in person for the first time. We were at a party and you came up to me and you're like, hey, like we had met, actually we met first, and then like 5 minutes go by and you come back up to me and you're like, Trevor, it's Mel. And I go, who's Mel? And you go, it's Bell. And I go, oh my God, Bell. So what were some of your highlights for the this week in Miami?
That was one of the highlights, honestly, being called Mel. No, meeting you. That was one of the highlights, honestly, being called Mel. No, meeting you was super awesome. I actually ran into you a couple of times, which was really cool. It's always so different when you meet a person that you've been speaking to so often on these Twitter spaces. I think it kind of elevates that relationship, and I think that that's why it's so important and so, I don't know, next level when you attend these IRL events. Because truly the communities that are being built right now, especially during the bear market, we always talk about like those that are left right now are the ones that are actually building. Those that are left right now are the ones that are actually building, are the ones that really want to stay here, are the ones that are planning a future, that want to see it improve, etc. But I think that all of that is true. But I think that even more so, um, during a market like this, to see the people who are willing to take the trip, who are doubling down on building those relationships with people in IRL. I mean, it takes it to a completely new level, and you see the dedication, and you see the commitment, and you see um, the I guess the shining light on people, and I love it because at the end of the day, it truly is about the people that are in this space, and it truly is about the community and the relationship, etc. So it was really really nice to meet all of you guys in person. Definitely looking forward to more. I was not able to meet Satoshi's mom. I was really sad about that. I did actually see, and I forgot to send you the pic, but I took a picture of it. I did see your tag at NFT Now. I saw where you had written Satoshi's mom was here, and I took a picture of that and wrote my name really close to it. So at least there's that. Um, so yeah, I was really happy with the outcome of meeting everybody. It did. I was, I guess, disappointed that I was not able to see everybody. In these events, it's so hard to see all of the people that you want to see. One of my favorite ones so far has been VCon, and that is specifically because of the close proximity where everybody was, instead of having to, struggle with conflicting hours and everyone being at, different places at the same time. So it was really, really cool. I hope next time it can be even better. And Chris, shout out to you for going through all of that. My goodness. I wish I would have given you an extra hug just for that.
Yeah, Chris is the man. Bell, and you had your whole team there. Got to meet, like, you had a whole video crew. I got to meet your co-founder of your show. I got to meet Don, who I would see every single day in our show to date, and there he is right there giving a heart. Shout out to you, Don. It was great to meet you. So yeah, it was a fantastic event. And Satoshi's mom, I got to see you on the NFT Now party on the first night. But where did you go after that, man? What did you get into, and how was your experience?
Yo, what's up, Trevor? And Belle, I wish I could have met you as well. I was just going to make a comment on that because I did get to meet a bunch of people, and it was super fun. And yeah, the NFT Now party, the Gateway party, that was so awesome. Seriously, like I literally made the trip. It was like 4 hours.
But where did you go after that, man? What did you get into, and how was your experience?
Yo, what's up, Trevor? And Belle, I wish I could have met you as well. I was just going to make a comment on that because I did get to meet a bunch of people, and it was super fun. And yeah, the NFT Now party, the Gateway party, that was so awesome. Seriously, like I literally made the trip. It was like 4 hours driving down to Miami. It was kind of last minute, and I was like, I could have taken a flight or whatever. I ended up not. Just ended up driving down there, and I was like, I'm just going to be here for a day. I wasn't planning on staying a while, but I'm happy with how long I stayed. I just went for the party, and then basically stayed up till like 6 a.m. hanging out with the homies, and just basically hanging out around the streets of downtown Miami, and like went back to our place and smoked some joints on the balcony. Was just vibing and blasting Drake at 6 a.m. since apparently nobody gives a shit since it's Miami and it's Drake. So yeah, it was really fun. But getting to hang out with you, Trevor, and Fubar, getting to talk with you two for a while, that was definitely one of the highlights of the night. Just meeting a lot of people at the event that overall were, they're really deep in the space. They're big names that have really put a lot of work and effort and energy into pushing the industry forward. And they're there in the deepest of the bear market, working, networking, hanging out, enjoying themselves, building, making connections. These are the people that I want to surround myself with. So going to the event helped put a lot of things in perspective for me. And both as a collector and an artist and just a builder in the space, really just made me excited about the future of the space even more. Because I know that even if everything just literally went to surround myself with. So going to the event helped put a lot of things in perspective for me. And both as a collector and an artist and just a builder in the space, really just made me excited about the future of the space even more. Because I know that even if everything just literally went to zero, the people that are there at that type of party like that, and the people that came out and traveled to be there, like Belle was saying, that those people are still going to build even if it goes to zero. Like the majority of them, I genuinely believe it. And it's not going to go straight to zero or whatever. And we're at a different place than we were in the last bear market. But I just really am. I left the event just so stoked on everybody I met, the connections and the just the hospitality of everybody. It's just so welcoming. And I'm just excited about the future of this space and excited to keep pushing it forward any way I can. And it's people like you, Trevor, and people at NFT Now, like Medved, and everybody coordinating stuff like this that are creating the space for people to really like grow as an artist, as a collector, as just a person who wants to network. And it was beautiful.
Yeah, man, everything you said, I want to echo 100, man. It was a great event. NFT Now team really pulled, a lot of hard work into this, really brought like so many people together. They had an amazing display, took over the whole down, a lot of hard work into this, really like so many people together. They had an amazing display, took over the whole downtown. Like the video, the hype video that was super hyped up did not do it justice. It was way better than that. And got to go around. I had to like I got all this free merch, but it wasn't free because I got so much merch I had to pay $35 to check a bag at the airport. But yeah, I got all the merch. And it was like as you said, like it was a little bit tough because in Miami you have like the downtown area where the gateway was, and that was kind of taken over. There was also Web3 Summit conference that I spoke at that was there. And then there was also Miami Beach and also Wynwood where a lot of the events was happening. So it was kind of difficult to travel between those and to find everybody, but it was a total adventure and a great experience. Chris, you have your hand raised. You want to add?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it, not gross. But so Satoshi, his mom, I was supposed to be at that party, and when Trevor said like he had to get an extra bag for all of his merch, it made me think like I didn't, but I got more merch than Trevor. So like, why is that? Well, you see, I was all dressed up for the party, wearing a nice like white button up and like some nice pants and all that. And yeah, because of my health issues, I threw up on the way there, and my plane didn't have the bags to throw up in. So yeah, I had to just leave my clothes, like my nice clothes that I went to Miami, and I just left them in the hotel room because it just so happens our hotel also washer and dryer was out. So, it's just one of those trips. But yeah, I literally just left it my clothes there. That was a kind of a gross but funny experience. Never had to do that before.
So just to clarify, Chris, and tell this story properly, you got on your plane, you threw up all over yourself, and you had to sit on the plane the entire ride with throw up on your shirt. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. Couldn't change until I got to the airport and really didn't even get like napkins and stuff until later because it was like right after takeoff. So like you know how flight attendants aren't allowed to like walk up and down the aisle like while you're taking off until you're like at a certain elevation. I had to like wait until then to actually get like help.
And on top of Chris, man, it's so hard. I mean, on top of this, you pushed your surgery back, and then this happened. But was it worth it or not?
Yeah, man, it was definitely worth it. It was well worth it. Would I ever do it again? Absolutely not. But but yeah, it was worth it this time.
Awesome, man.
Like help.
And on top of Chris, man, it's so hard. I mean, on top of this, you pushed your surgery back, and then this happened. But was it worth it or not?
Yeah, man, it was definitely worth it. It was well worth it. Would I ever do it again? Absolutely not. But but yeah, it was worth it this time.
Awesome, man. That's such a great story. I'm gonna be telling that story for a while to come. Brett, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
I thought when you were echoing Satoshi's mum's sentiment about how good it was to meet you, that you were saying that about yourself, Trevor. But I'd love to hear, I'd love to hear Manny Lynx's take on how his experience was there. It's good to have him here. He was on a space that we hosted the other day with Gamma and Artemis in collaboration. It was great to sort of hear his take on the space, and if anyone got to that Artemis event, or I think there was like a Disruptors event or something. Yeah, about his take on how Miami was, because it looked like some awesome connections were made. And yeah, Chris, man, I didn't realize you looked a lot healthier than that in the photos. So good stuff putting up with all of that.
Yeah, Manny, welcome to the stage, man. Glad to have you here.
Hey, what's going on, Trevor? What's going on, everybody? Sorry, I lost my voice. I literally lost it last night. I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. It's been hectic. Artemis was dope. I literally just packed up all the material, or packed up all the work that was done that night, loaded it in the car, and I ended up canceled my flight back to LA, and I'll be driving the work back now. So it's been a lot going on, and yeah. So we got the 8x8 footer in the car. We got all the work in the car, and yeah, it's been a dope experience. Linking up with everybody, and making memories, seeing friends. Like I party more with people who live in LA and other cities because that's just I don't know. It's fucking weird. We travel to other cities to support our friends when we live in the same city. And that's what it's all about, though. It was just so dope to see all the events going on simultaneously, but then seeing how packed they still were, seeing the turnout that was still going on with all the installations, activations, and just parties in general. Because there was a lot of things going on. Like this is my first time out here. Don't get me wrong, but it's a different vibe out here. The weather was amazing. A lot of people said that the weather was actually on point for what it usually is out here. The first night was kind of cool, hectic for me. But I was running on fumes, but other than that, the events were good for me. I had a lot of fun, met a lot of people, made a lot of memories, created some dope art, saw some dope art, and yeah, I'm excited to see this space continuously survive and see where it's going to be at in the next year. I want to see what Miami's going to look like next year or the next 2 years, because it just for me it looked like nothing stopped. Outside, the way everybody talks and they have all the smoke and mirrors in front of their face, all the negative Nancy's, it's like that's gonna always be there. But for me, it just seemed like a normal fucking NFT event, where we were all just pushing, we're all doing our thing, we're all following our path, and we're just trying to create space for others to join and feel welcomed, and don't fucking worry about the market. If you're still building, if you're still doing, you will end up on top. I know so many people that came out here with no intentions, because it just for me it looked like nothing stopped. Outside, the way everybody talks and they have all the smoke and mirrors in front of their face, all the negative Nancy's, it's like that's gonna always be there. But for me, it just seemed like a normal fucking NFT event, where we were all just pushing, we're all doing our thing, we're all following our path, and we're just trying to create space for others to join and feel welcomed, and don't fucking worry about the market. Join and feel welcomed, and don't fucking worry about the market. If you're still building, if you're still doing, you will end up on top. I know so many people that came out here with no intentions, but came out and left with more than they expected, and that's what it was all about for me. So yeah, I'm super stoked to have met so many people, invited to all these events, and overall just experience a good time with everybody. That's my big takeaway. So yeah.
That's amazing, man. And how long is this trip back driving the truck from Miami to LA? That's crazy.
The trip is probably like you can do it in 4 to 5 days, but we're gonna probably do like a little road trip, make it fun. I didn't plan on this. I literally did not plan on this. This kind of just landed on my lap this morning, where we're trying to figure out how to get all this work back properly, and if most cost effectively, I guess you would say. And I don't really mind driving. I drove the merch actually to Colorado for the Future Shape 360 event. So I've done, decent drives. This will be probably the longest one across country, but this will be a perfect time because I had an idea I've always wanted to do, which was travel from either the East Coast to the West Coast or vice versa, and then do art all along my trip. Wrap it up like a little scroll and then just leave them in places for people to find, like a little treasure hunt kind of deal. So this might be a good opportunity to try to do something like that. But overall, it's just going to be an experience, add to the story of Miami, It's supposed to be there a week and it took 2 weeks to get the work back and all this other stuff. Who knows what's going to happen, but I'm ready for it. And I'm just stoked to, get the work back for the artist because that's the main thing, returning all the stuff safely. So yeah.
And is this like artwork that is for your exhibit? Like, tell us a little bit more about what you're trucking back, and also what was the event that it was for, the Artemis event. Tell us about that event. What was it like? Where was it? Give us some more color to this awesome story.
I mean, the Artemis event was super, obviously all this stuff was last minute for a lot of people. For me, it was last minute. I didn't have anything planned out. I didn't even submit any work to be displayed, but I came out here and did an 8x8. Gabe Weiss was out here. Camila Chang, Gazelle. We had Lex. We had Luther, Wes Henry, Adam Flux. There was so many people out here at the Artemis event, and all the work that was created that night. Eddie Gangland was out here. All the work that was created that night is pretty much what I'm hauling back to LA. Some of the community pieces that they had, like big rolls of paper and canvas out on the tables that people drew on. So we got all that wrapped up. Yeah, like we're just trying to keep this journey going and create a vault of just all the stuff that we do over time, because we're gonna look back at this as a moment in history where we didn't let the fire die out. We kept adding fuel to it, and that's what this is about. All these little memories, all these stories, all these clubhouse rooms, all these pictures, all this art. People are gonna look back at this like, yo, this was the beginning of something that was just gonna be legendary, because this is gonna be fucking legendary.
That's awesome, man. So basically, a bunch of artists showed up and just made art at this event.
Yeah. I mean, it was a planned event, and to be honest, I was so out the loop that I had to keep calling Keith to ask him, like, hey, where do I gotta be at today? Where do I gotta be at tomorrow? Because I knew I had to be at 3 or 4 different events, and I actually missed several because I was just so burnt out from the previous project that I'd been working on prior to Miami. I was running on fumes the whole time. So when I first got to Miami, I actually slept for the first 2 nights. I missed the Scope event, I missed the V Friends event, I missed the SLS party. I missed so much stuff the first 2 nights, but still, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I think we're finishing strong, so I'm stoked about it.
That's awesome, man. That's such a great story. Jan, welcome to the stage, man. How are you doing?
Hey guys, I'm actually listening to all of you and I'm super sad because one, I didn't have a chance to go to all these events that you're describing, and second, I didn't even have a chance to listen to you on the show for 2 weeks. So I think I kind of lost twice, So it's pretty hard for me, man. I'm glad you all had amazing time.
And I think we're finishing strong, so I'm stoked about it.
That's awesome, man. That's such a great story. Jan, welcome to the stage, man. How are you doing?
Hey guys, I'm actually listening to all of you and I'm super sad because one, I didn't have a chance to go to all these events that you're describing, and second, I didn't even have a chance to listen to you on the show for 2 weeks. So I think I kind of lost twice, So it's pretty hard for me, man. I'm glad you all had amazing time though.
What did you do in those 2 weeks, Jan?
Man, just studying, watching the market. Honestly, I'm not really doing too much right now in terms of like actively investing, more kind of like really hodling ETH, trying to get more so that I'm ready for some market action. But just observing, learning. I published 2 more podcasts, so just building.
That's awesome, man. How are those potatoes doing?
Potatoes are holding up. They have the mint coming soon, right? Which hasn't been announced. The captains, and so I think the floor price is pretty stable, maybe going a little bit up. Nothing crazy though. So we'll see what the mint is going to do to the price. I would expect that we're going to see some price action in the next couple of weeks, but they haven't really announced the date yet. So maybe going a little bit up. Nothing crazy though. So we'll see what the mint is going to do to the price. I would expect that we're going to see some price action in the next couple of weeks, but they haven't really announced the date yet. So I think before they do so, we're not going to see much going on there.
That's cool, man. I had a couple interesting conversations at Art Basel that are trading related, maybe to share with the audience here. One was from, I don't want to say who it is, but he's the director of like a pretty big company that probably everybody knows here, who he does a lot of token sales and things like that, and setting up for token sales. And he said he has an SEC desk in his office, and he said that the regulation that's coming is going to create several new types of securities that right now, with the way that regulation deals with crypto tokens and things like that, that there's like kind of like one bucket of securities. And he gave me some alpha that the SEC might be coming out with like different classifications for different kind of securities. He was he was pretty pessimistic. I mean, on Yuga Labs and like the stuff that they're dealing with. He said that he doesn't think the token itself is going to be a security, but more that that NFTs might be coming under some fire. I hope not. I don't know how they're going to do that. I mean, it's art at the end of the day. And he even said like they have to do this in a way that doesn't affect the art market. But something to keep your eye on in terms of regulation coming. I know it's been, if you didn't go to Art Basel, I can't imagine what everyone's feeling right now. And I remember before going to Art Basel, like, man, this whole FTX and everything stuff is stressing me the hell out. Right now, I feel pretty good. Right now, I don't care. I'm like super past it. And it's kind of funny to look at the SBF and the garbage lies. I can't imagine what everyone's feeling right now. And I remember before going to Art Basel, like, man, this whole FTX and everything stuff is stressing me the hell out. Right now, I feel pretty good. Right now, I don't care. I'm like super past it. And it's kind of funny to look at the SBF and the garbage lies that he's telling. But that's something to look out for in terms of like regulation coming. And he said the biggest problem with NFT projects is making announcements. So he said that like the SEC is going to be more looking at like, hey, if you like making announcement, like the SEC is going to be more looking at like, hey, if you like making announcements, if you just like do airdrops and don't make announcements, you're going to be good. But any type of announcement could be come a red flag in the future. And I'll call on Brett before I go to my next point. Brett, what's up? You have your hand raised.
It was on that point. It's interesting that you brought up Yuga Labs. I was listening to, I don't know if anyone listens to it. It's a really good podcast called The Crypto Conversation with Andy Pickering, which, Trevor, you've been on, haven't you? He's based out of New Zealand. It's a big one in the Southern Hemisphere, but I think he's got a very good global audience. He had, I wish I remembered his name. Like, anyway, someone who works for Yuga, and he was talking a lot about, it was last week, and it was a pretty bullish kind of episode if you take everything that he was saying on board. So it's interesting to hear that. You'd assume that Yuga, being the company that they are and the company that they're becoming, would be pretty across those sorts of things. So it will be interesting to see how it plays out, particularly because he was very bullish on the other side deeds and, what they're building out there with like, I guess like what everyone's kind of maybe like vision of the metaverse, or like a real kind of like, what do you call it in gaming? I was never a gamer, like MMO, so like the mass player type thing, and what they're building out with that. So interesting to kind of hear like contradicting points of the story. So this person, whoever that is, obviously, has their finger on the pulse. So be interesting to see how it plays out. But then I wouldn't put it past Yuga to be navigating these things properly, particularly because they've got the resources to. And interesting around announcements. And there's so many NFT projects. Like, who do they go after? They go after the big fish first. But what constitutes an announcement? I guess it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, totally. And by the way, guys, this is not like some random tokenomics advisor. This is like a very credible person. Otherwise, I wouldn't share this. I don't want to out him though, because in case he's wrong. And I don't want to look bad. But the point being, I also was a little bit pessimistic about what he said, despite the person being very credible. I personally think that Yuga has a super good bankroll, and that they've done so much good for the space that like, um, it's not like they didn't like rug anybody. Like I think the SEC. I think if the SEC did go after them, like it would be a lot of backlash, and like I don't see it being like a. I see it being a very hard battle to fight because people are caring about the art and the prestige of what you get with your PFP having a Bored Ape. So, TBD. Brett, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to share his name. I just looked it up while you were chatting then. So his name's Chris Fortier, or Chris Fortier. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I probably pretty much said it the same way twice then. But
caring about the art and the prestige of what you get with your PFP having a Bored Ape. So, TBD. Brett, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to share his name. I just looked it up while you were chatting then. So his name's Chris Fortier, or Chris Fortier. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I probably pretty much said it the same way twice then. But he's the VP of product at Yuga Labs, and he's been, in the ecosystem. He's been, in the ecosystem for a long time. So I'm not sure if any of you follow him or know of him, but yeah, someone who's right up there, being, was on the podcast. So worth a listen and worth sort of like making up your own mind. But yeah, totally fair enough not to dox that guy, but certainly worthwhile, knowing those things. You can't bury your head in the sand to not think that there are people on the outside trying to find holes in the space, so to speak.
Yeah, and just to be clear, the name that Chris just mentioned is not the person that I was talking about, but the person that he was talking about on the podcast.
Yeah, that was on the podcast. His name's Chris Fortier. He's the VP of Yuga Labs. That's not who Trevor was talking about. Clear.
Yeah, I literally thought you're like, oh, I just found out who Trevor was talking to because
No. The person who's on the podcast. The person who's on the podcast. He's the VP of product at Yuga Labs. His name's Chris Fortier, fully doxed. He's not the one feeding Trevor any information. Sorry for any confusion there, guys.
And this wasn't like a backdoor conversation too. I'm sure if someone talked to him, he would say the same thing. But yeah, so that was kind of like maybe a little bit concerning news. But I think then I heard some even more bullish news about Yuga. Another person who I also don't want to out, but you can figure it out by looking at some of the really big Bored Apes that we've had on the show before. He has some of the best Bored Apes and has a lot of them. He was also recently on the Yuga Labs Bored Ape Founder podcast. He told me that he thinks, and okay, this is not like he doesn't know this for a fact. He thinks there's going to be a huge other side like release in time for Christmas, and so he thinks that there could be like the first level or like the first playable demo for everybody in time for Christmas for the Bored Ape community and probably the NFT community to get a tryout on the other side. I think that would be super dope. I couldn't imagine having like a happier Christmas and like a bigger present to the NFT community. And so I think that would be super smart if they could do that. I mean, they did show several demos, over the past few months, and I know they have a lot of money and resources. It would be possible definitely for them to launch the first level or like a demo for people to play. So if they did that for Christmas, I think that'd be super dope and some alpha potentially to see if you believe it and bet on. Eli, go ahead. Or sorry, Brett, go ahead.
Have we just obviously the show is called Not Financial Advice, but have we just given the other side deeds a massive pump? Because I said that there was a real bullish podcast on them, and now you shared that. That sounds to me like that person might have had like long, luscious blonde hair, but maybe it was someone else, but who owns a lot of Bored Apes. I'm not sure if he's even been on this show, but yeah, interesting stuff. Be really worthwhile watching that now, considering I guess the subtle hints that that Chris guy gave on the podcast and the discussion that you've had in Miami. But have we just given the other side deeds a massive pump? Because I said that there was a real bullish podcast on them, and now you shared that. That sounds to me like that person might have had like long, luscious blonde hair, but maybe it was someone else, but who owns a lot of Bored Apes. I'm not sure if he's even been on this show, but yeah, interesting stuff. Be really worthwhile watching that now, considering I guess the subtle hints that that Chris guy gave on the podcast and the discussion that you've had in Miami, Trevor. Sounds like you've had some good ones.
Yeah, so the guy I got that tip from has been on the show, but I would say whatever you do not buy another side deed, because another thing that happened at Miami is that I lost a bet to Ken, our other the other co-host who gives our market report on the other days that Chris is not giving the market report. You can see him in the audience, OX Candy. I lost a bet to him, and I actually owe him another side deed that I haven't been able to sell a couple things to grab yet. So whatever you do, please do not buy another side deed. If anything, like him another side deed that I haven't been able to sell a couple things to grab yet. So whatever you do, please do not buy another side deed. If anything, like give more weight to the first alpha that I gave you than the more recent alpha. Cool. So Satoshi's mom, what's up, man? Any thoughts on the topic so far?
Dude, I love how you gave so much nice clarification there on giving weight to the first alpha over the second alpha. So that was cool. I like that. But yeah, dude, I'm just chilling. I'm like just back to it now that I'm home and in the zone. But it was just super cool. Visiting Miami was a good reset. I recommend people to really go to these IRL events when they get a shot, especially if it lines up. And yeah, but besides that, like looking into the market for the rest of the month and into 2023, I've seen that there's been more activity. There's been more people trading and buying and just doing random shit, degenning into shit, it feels like. But it still doesn't feel like super, super hot. I've still been laying low. Like I haven't been aping into anything really. I did buy some decagons recently just because I think they look dope and maybe they'll see a moon. I think that like generative art is starting to get more of a highlight. People are getting more excited about that again. And especially people who have a lot of liquidity to spend, that's probably sidelined. People are looking at art blocks and different projects like this and getting excited about them. Like the Anon project that dropped recently went to like a 1 point something ETH floor, just completely generative art. Nobody even knows who the artist is. From that to like friendship bracelets pumping, going up and down and up and down and back up. I'm just really bullish on like just the space as a whole and creators that are putting out dope shit, right? Like friendship bracelets pumping, going up and down and up and down and back up. um, I'm just really bullish on like just the space as a whole and creators that are putting out dope shit right now. So yeah, that's what I've got going on. We're doing a drop tomorrow actually, for something I started, basically an incubator for artists to do generative drops. So that's on my schedule, and it's called Moods. So I'm really stoked about that. And the artist, her name is Randir. So yeah, that's a little bit of a plug, I suppose. But just genuinely dope artist. I love supporting dope artists to create dope shit. And yeah, so that's what I'm most excited about this week.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's if you're a regular on the show, it's not shilling, it's just alpha. So Satoshi's mom, could you tell us a little bit more about that project that you're dropping tomorrow?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I mean, like, it's basically the artist. Her name's Ran X Deer. You can look her up on Twitter, and look at her foundation, look at her work. She has a really, really unique style that I haven't seen anybody else like do at all. And it's basically like abstract, like very interesting vibey pieces. And the collection's called Moods because each one is basically like its own mood. But they're not PFPs. They're like fine art, generative art, and made by an artist who I believe is very brilliant and up and coming, who's been making art since early 2021. The way we did it is we generated like 35,000 pieces, and she actually went through and hand curated the supply of 3,000. So it was an interesting type of thing to do that many, to go through and like only pick 3,000 is pretty nuts. But each piece really has a lot of soul and a lot of flair and energy to it. And I think that it's collections that like artists are really pouring their heart into to put out there that push the space forward versus it just being like a random PFP project that everyone knows is going to go to zero. Like those come and go. But I think it's projects like this that really get me more excited because I see an artist has put a lot of energy into it. It's small supply, priced competitively. The mint's going to be 0.011 ETH. So it's not like a free mint. It's not a degen mint. There's a cap on it. So you can't degen 100 of them, unless I guess you're using a bot. But there's like a 10 per wallet cap. But overall, like the vibes of it
is what I'm so bullish on. And the artist is going to be making art, they plan on working forever. Like it's something they love and enjoy. It's not just like a job or something. And I think that about any of the artists that are putting out work right now in this market. Like it's just about, I think, cultivating community over dope art. Like if you go into any of the Tezos communities, for example, like the people that collect Tezos art, they are like the most purest form of collectors, in my opinion. On ETH, we see a lot more of like investment based collecting versus like on Tezos, people are like making pieces that take, I don't even know, days probably, selling them for 50 cents in like limited editions of 10. They're not doing it for like anything beyond the excitement of creating something and putting it out there. And like it's just interesting to kind of see that like the collector is also bonding over pieces so much in that ecosystem. It inspires me to feel like, this is kind of what made NFTs so popular to begin with. So like I think that the drop tomorrow has a lot of that flair infused and a lot of that love and energy. So I'm stoked to see how it goes. And it's basically like my first incubated drop. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's awesome, man. And what is like the website, what time, like mint price, etc.?
So the website actually is going to be ranxdeer.art. So ran, RANX, deer, DEER.art. But we haven't launched it yet. So if you go there, I don't know if it'll bring you anywhere. But it launches tomorrow at 4:20 p.m. Eastern, and the mint price is 0.011 ETH. And you can maybe mint one for free if you are on the whitelist, which would be any of Randir's 101 pieces, or if you have a Stony or a Pothead, which are my NFT collections. So yeah, like beyond that though, it's just a fun drop. I don't look at this as like, hey, DGens, come around, like let's a million X your money in the next 10 seconds type thing. It's really just a drop filled with heart and soul, and I think the space needs more of those. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. Brett, you have your hand raised, very eager to say something. What's up?
I did have my hand raised until the very end, and you asked the question I was going to ask. I was going to say, is everybody in this space, getting snapshotted and whitelisted or what?
Got it.
Well, my dad would probably go crazy if I keep telling him to switch every little thing because he keep doing that. But he's been so fucking good with it. But yeah, no, unfortunately not.
I was kidding. No, awesome to hear. Yeah, so 4:20 Eastern tomorrow. Will you guys tweet it out?
Yeah, 100%. Like I've been tweeting about it quite a bit, but we'll definitely be like promoting it and everything tomorrow. And I'll be tweeting it from my Twitter. Then Randy will also be tweeting. But yeah, I think
how do we
find its way in the right hands.
Do you want to pin the artist Twitter? It'd be cool to check out their art. I actually just wanted to echo what you were saying around like, the collectors and what they do, I guess, like you said, on Tezos. And it's kind of like a similar feeling. Obviously, Trevor and I both have our little voted banners on our work. So we're out of the Stacks ecosystem. It's a similar thing. You're sort of seeing, and Boozy's in the audience here, I can see, where art, I think probably like you said, there are going to be really strong PFP projects that stick around and do amazing things, particularly ones that build out massive ecosystems like what Yuga Labs is doing and like what other ones are doing. But there are a lot that probably will end up going to zero. But I think in the end, art wins because art's, been around for thousands of years and impossible to predict how far into the future the human race is going to go. But, would assume it's art wins now and it's always going to continue to win. So I love that I love that you made that point. I think it's super important to remember in the space because, like you said, some pieces take ages and ages and ages to create, and the artist has really poured their heart and soul into it. So I think that, do you want to pin the artist Twitter? It'd be cool to check out their art. I actually just wanted to echo what you were saying around like you said on Tezos, and it's kind of like a similar feeling. Obviously, Trevor and I both have our little voted banners on our work. So we're out of the Stacks ecosystem. It's a similar thing. You're sort of seeing, and Boozy's in the audience here, I can see, where art, I think probably like you said, there are going to be really strong PFP projects that stick around and do amazing things, particularly ones that build out massive ecosystems like what Yuga Labs is doing and like what other ones are doing. But there are a lot that probably will end up going to zero. But I think in the end, art wins because art's, been around for thousands of years, and who impossible to predict how far into the future the human race is going to go, but would assume it's art wins now and it's always going to continue to win. So I love that you made that point. I think it's super important to remember in the space because, like you said, some pieces take ages and ages and ages to create, and the artist has really poured their heart and soul into it. So I think that collections like the one that it sounds like you're involved in right now, is one of them, and people should be bullish on them. If anything, just supporting that artist and what they're going to do, now moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Brett, I was hoping you were going to pitch Satoshi's mom on Stacks and Gamma because
I am. Well,
that is kind of your job to do your job.
Well, it is part of my job at Gamma as head of growth, isn't it? I keep trying to get Jans to buy a parrot because that's my project, but he's going to take a little bit more of an arm twist. Chris has jumped in. Yeah, Satoshi's mum, you needed, set yourself up with a Hero wallet or an Xverse wallet, the two main wallets on Stacks right now, and have a little look because, as Trevor said, Bitcoin secured NFTs. Bitcoin's the most decentralized, the most secure, the most uncensored blockchain that there is, and Stacks is bringing smart contracts to it. And guys like Boozy, who's in the crowd, have been minting their work there. I can see Xenotron's here, and there's some amazing stuff like what you said about Tezos. I didn't go too deep into it, but the community is really what makes Stacks what it is right now, and it's super interesting because we've got really high quality artists like Manny Links would have seen at the Artemis event. We had 20 or 25 artists work on display there. So Boozy was actually there. Nicole was there. Nicole's done work for Trevor for Crash Punks. We had Arno from Earth. We had another guy called Arno Carstens who's actually had like a massive music career in South Africa. So there's some serious hidden talent if you're into your art. There's also who else I can see right now? Hungry Artist who came through the Mintery program. There's some really cool stuff. And I think that, like you said on Tezos, there are ecosystems like Tezos and like Stacks where if you jump in and have a little look around, there's some really good art. There's some really quality communities, and of course I can see right now Hungry Artist who came through the program. There's some really cool stuff, and I think that, like you said on Tezos, there are ecosystems like Tezos and like Stacks where if you jump in and have a little look around, there's some really good art. There's some really quality communities, and of course, it's not the same network effect and user base that ETH has, but there's some things that I'm certainly very long on. I'm not married to any blockchain either. Like I've got Tezos wallet, I've got a Stacks wallet, I've got an ETH wallet. I think it's really healthy to keep your eyes around the place and be a different sort of collector in different ecosystems. But yeah, I'd hook Satoshi's mum up if Satoshi's mum opens up a Stacks wallet. We'll send him a couple of Crash Punks assets and a couple of things. Man, we're on here.
Done, bro. I'll do that shit.
Do it, and then DM me your wallet address after this, and I'll shoot you a few things for a bit of fun. Get you started.
Fuck yeah! I already started following you, so I will do that for sure. So it's a Stacks wallet?
Yeah. So hero.so. So the wallet is Hero, is the main web wallet. I know that Xverse is the main mobile wallet, and they've actually just released the beta version of their web wallet today, and I think it's going live December 8th, so it's only a couple of days away. Well, I'm in Australia, so I'm already at the 6th. I think you guys are still on the 5th, so only a few days away for you guys. So yeah, there'll be a couple of strong competing web wallets. But yeah, Hero is where you'd go now. So hiro.so/wallet, or just go to hero.so. Hero is actually the main character out of the novel you guys see. Yeah, there'll be a couple of strong competing web wallets. But yeah, Hero is where you'd go now. So hiro.so/wallet, or just go to hero.so. Hero is actually the main character out of the novel. I've just gone completely blank. Oh my God, Trevor.
Snow Crash, come
Snow
on,
Crash.
dude. I'm about to kick you off the stage,
which is
dude.
Crash Punks. I know, I've just gone blank. I had Satoshi's mum and I having a conversation. Yeah, on Snow Crash, which Crash Punks. Trevor's PFP, and I've worked with Trevor at Crash Punks, was based on Snow Crash, and Snow Crash I know stimulated and motivated a lot of the sort of like verbiage and language around lots of things in the Stacks ecosystem. So the Hero wallet's named after Hero Protagonist, who's the protagonist, very funnily, but the main character in Snow Crash. And just a further note on Snow Crash is that Neil Stephenson released it in 1992 and actually coined the word metaverse. So every time we use the word metaverse and every time you see it on Twitter every day, Neil Stephenson coined the term, came up with the term metaverse in 1992. So it was super prescient. So that's what, 30 years ago now. And here we are in a space sort of building out the metaverse together. But yeah, Stacks is really, really inspired by that. I know that Muneeb Ali who's the founder of Stacks, was a massive fan of that book. But anyway, and here we are in a space sort of building out the metaverse together. But yeah, Stacks is really, really inspired by that. I know that Muneeb Ali who's the founder of Stacks, was a massive fan of that book. But anyway, yeah, there we go. So Trevor, how was that? Was that a better pitch?
Yeah, man, good job. And also, a lot of the crypto world was inspired by Neil Stephenson's work. Like he also wrote Cryptonomicon, which, and Snow Crash, which was a lot of the original cypherpunks, and people rumored to be like Satoshi Nakamoto, were big fans of that. So definitely a solid book to read if
100%.
you haven't. Yeah. And Jan, you
He's
have your hand raised. Go ahead, Brad. I'll let you finish real quick.
Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry. I was going to say, and you and I, we were lucky enough to interview and speak to him at that online crypto event, middle of the year, and even asked him if he was Satoshi, but he denied it. But yeah, he's a massive thinker. To think about Cryptonomicon, Snow Crash, among others, and his recent book Termination Shock's also super. I think that will be super prescient as well. So there's been some novelists and some authors who certainly I think that will be super prescient as well. So there's been some novelists and some authors who certainly made their impact on things that we're exploring today. Totally worth a read. So shout out Neil.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You've gotten to chat with and interview the guy who inspired Satoshi Nakamoto, and now you've gotten to speak to Satoshi's mom. So, all the people that inspired Satoshi.
I know, this is massive. Like my life goal is certainly rolling out right now. Good on you, Satoshi's mum. Thanks for breeding Satoshi.
Bro, yeah, dude, anytime. And also, dude, I love that there's people collecting art and just bonding and enjoying that. Like, anytime that is happening, I want to be a part of it. So, like, it sounds like that's kind of what's happening right now with the ecosystem you're describing. So I am excited to dive deeper.
Yeah, totally. And can massively recommend Boozy, who's in the audience. His community based around art is a massive one. There's others as well, but yeah, we can chat in a DM later. But yeah, totally. Anyway, love to hear what
Awesome.
Jan has to say.
Jan, yeah.
No, I just wanted to contribute to the conversation. I mean, obviously, I'm watching you guys with the parrots, so just give me some time, man. Don't rush me.
Jan, yeah.
No, I just wanted to. I mean, obviously, I'm watching you guys, so just give me some time, man. Don't rush me into my decisions, okay? But no, I just wanted to say, Satoshi's mom. I actually have both wallets for Stacks, so I have the Xverse wallet and I have the Hero wallet as well. And I actually love the Xverse wallet because it's mobile, and you can actually see your NFTs and everything in there. It's super easy, to transfer by, even from Gamma. So, obviously choose whichever works better for you, but you should explore both of them because they're unique in different ways. And so that was just something that I wanted to add. I really enjoyed that mobile experience for the Stacks wallet.
Awesome. Belle, I want to call on you. Any thoughts, reflections on the conversation so far? What's on your mind? Any thoughts, reflections on the conversation so far? What's on your mind?
Sorry, I'm multitasking with the kids. I think that it is awesome to see people be chain agnostic and not really focus on one, because I think that, if one of us wins, all of us wins. And it's super important to not be committed or married to just one type of way, but all of them. So I'm going to be exploring that as well.
Awesome. And somebody who has tried more chains than anybody here on the stage and who tries every single chain despite the risks involved is Chris Coffey. Chris, what are some of the chains that you've been looking at? I know you're big on the Vive community. On the topic of multi-chain, what are some things you're excited about?
Yeah, there's a couple of companies like I've Recur, like you know how I got the shirt this week, to where they're eventually going to be able to. I think that's one. I might be thinking of. There's some other platform-based companies, basically to where you can take off like a single item that's like not an NFT yet. It's like a digital collectible, but then you can mint it on a chain. And some of these companies, like you basically get to choose which chain you want to mint it on. So like yeah, you know, I could mint it on AVAX, I could mint it on ETH, I could mint it on Solana. I probably wouldn't mint it on Stacks, but you get the point. Like I can mint it on like most chains that like you know I like, and so I don't know. I think that's a cool possibility because people are. Sorry, we're getting the thumbs down. I think it's a cool possibility because you can essentially like in the future be able to mint on like the chain that you people are. Sorry, we're getting the thumbs down. I think it's a cool possibility because you can essentially like in the future be able to mint on like the chain that you prefer for whatever reason that you prefer that chain. And I think we'll see more of that moving forward in the future with a lot of like Web2 companies kind of having their own websites and maybe being onboarded by companies like Recur or Quid or whatever other company. And then like kind of doing their first set of NFTs. I think it's going to be on. I think we'll see that more possible. So, um, yeah, as far as multi chains, I'm not very. I think like maybe